Hello, hello. We have our culturally responsive teaching spotlight video, and we are going to begin by discussing the key term here, culture. Oftentimes with this theoretical perspective, we misunderstand what culture is actually intended to mean. So let's just look at a general definition of what culture is. If you look here at number 1, the customary beliefs, social forms, and material traits of a racial, religious, or social group. So kind of thinking about the beliefs, kind of social norms, forms, and even just objects and things that are important to us. Below that, it says the characteristic features of everyday existence. I love how it says that. Even if we think about the terms we use like popular culture or Southern culture. Number 2, the set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that categorizes a group or organization. And number 3, the integrated pattern of human knowledge, belief, and behavior of a group or organization. So as you can see there in number 1, it does mention kind of a racial group, but as you can see, it also is referencing many other types of groups, right? And so that's important to note. So yes, when we talk about culturally responsive teaching or pedagogy, we can be talking about thinking about centering race and ethnicity, but we're also talking about someone's linguistic background, social class, gender identity, family systems and structure, geographic regions they might be from, age, generations. You might find yourself saying, students are different now. Okay, well, that's because there are cultural changes in different generations. And religion. So it can mean a lot of different things. And so keep that in mind as we move forward. The broad learning theories that we've looked at so far, behaviorism, Piaget's theory of cognitive development, and Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, offer us some important principles to consider, but there are also a lot of limitations. I'm not going to go through all these. If you want to pause and take a look at that list, go for it. But I really want to point out some of the cons for some of these broad theories. So for instance, for behaviorism, what we know is that, it views the student as passive. It assumes teachers and adults are the ones that hold the knowledge and skills and not the students. And that last one there, what about the relationship? Okay, this theory doesn't talk at all about relationships. For Piaget's theory of development, if you look at the cons, really those bottom two, it ignores culture and language, which we know are a huge piece of teaching and learning. And what about relationships? Doesn't talk about relationships there either. For Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, some of the cons for his is, that fourth point down, it emphasizes the role of the teacher and kind of de-emphasizes the agency of the child. The teacher's really scaffolding the learning. It also kind of assumes social interactions and collaborations are positive and enriching for everyone. And again, the question, what about relationships? It really doesn't speak to that at all. So what is missing from these theories? First of all, understanding that strong, positive relationships with students is essential to teaching and learning. I feel like this comes up in almost every single discussion board. So for those of you working with children, teens, adults, this matters. Relationships matters. And our theories just have not really touched upon that. The other thing is centering culture. Having an understanding of students, knowing about their lives, knowing what's important to them, and thinking about how you can capitalize on that within the classroom. And so from this, addressing some of these limitations of these main theories that have driven instruction in the past, culturally responsive teaching standards were created in the state of Illinois to help us just better intersect with the students who are in our classrooms. And they range from self-awareness and relationship to others, systems of oppression, viewing students as individuals, viewing students as co-creators of both the curriculum and the classroom, leveraging student advocacy, family and community collaboration, content selections in all curricula, and student representation in the learning environment. And these are those pieces that start to fill in some of those gaps. It's also important to note that it is not a this or that choice. It's not, I'm going to be a culturally responsive teacher versus I'm teaching academic skills. Okay, it's not one or the other. We teach academic and social and emotional skills and physical skills through culturally responsive teaching. So it's not a this or that. It's through these standards and through this vision is how we go about teaching science and social studies and literacy. It's through these practices.